Hello and a warm welcome to Federal special program Capital Beat. Amidst the controversy over alleged misappropriation of donations at the Ram Temple in Ayodhya, Ram Janmabhoomi Temple Construction Committee Chairman Nripendra Mishra has called for a complete overhaul of the shrine's management system, saying that this episode has exposed serious lapses in supervision, accountability, and compliance with established procedures. Now, what are the things which he has pointed out? Because if this is what he has pointed out, that the entire system needs to be overhauled, then the big question is that what was Nripendra Mishra as chairman of the Temple Trust doing all this while? Now, I'm going to tell you exactly what all he has pointed out, which goes to show that he himself is citing helplessness. He is saying that the SIT investigation, which is underway, might not give fruitful results. On the other hand, Yogi Adityanath says that we will complete the entire SIT investigation in 15 days and no one will be spared. But what is Nripendra Mishra pointing out that at is very important. Now, the first thing what he says is that CCTV footage of the Ayodhya temple's donation counting room is automatically deleted after 45 days, making the special investigation probe into the alleged misappropriation of shrine offerings challenging. Now, no one understands as to why he is saying that Ayodhya temple's donation counting room is automatically deleted after 45 days, because this brings us to the question that was there an SOP? Was there a prescribed guideline? Was there any rule which said that the 45 days, after the 45 days period, the CCTV footage will be deleted? No one is able to understand that. Second point, what he has pointed out is, as I told you about this CCTV footage, he also says that while the data could have been archived, it was not saved, which has complicated the SIT's investigation. So the big question, if he's the Temple Trust chairman, why did he not ensure that the data was not saved? And whose responsibility was it? Where does the buck stop here? If not the chairman, then who else? Then he's also cited at the transparency lapses. Now, he has strongly criticized the temple management, revealing that the entire counting process was left to the outsourced employees. He also noted that CCTV footage showed an employee pocketing cash instead of placing it in the designated box. So, if this was something which was spotted a few weeks back, that there was a man who walked away with the cash, then why was it not pointed out earlier? Was Nripendra Mishra was in the know of all what was happening? Then he's also spoken about a broken system. He described the current donation handling framework as a broken system that lacked proper supervision and accountability. He briefed Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who he said is deeply concerned about the handling of devotees' offerings, and he's called for a major overhaul. He's advocated for an overhaul of the management structure, suggesting reforms similar to the Tirupati temple model, including the appointment of a full time chief executive officer with total autonomy. Now, on the other hand, you have a special investigation team which is appointed by the UP government, which is actively investigating the discrepancies, screening the financial records, and interviewing the temple staff. But what does Nripendra Mishra's statement in itself go to show? Was he not in the know of it, or is he trying to pass the buck on someone else? Is this statement by Nripendra Mishra another manifestation of the political battle brewing between the Delhi Darbar and the Yogi government? Joining me this evening is Sharat Pradhan, author and senior political commentator. Thank you so much, Sharatji, for joining. We have Professor Hiram Chaturvedi from the Allahabad University. Professor Chaturvedi, thank you so much for joining. And I'll begin with Sharat Pradhan. Pradhan, what would you really say about Nripendra Mishra's statement about how after 45 days the entire footage gets deleted? He's talking about an overhaul of the system. He's saying how everything was outsourced. He's sounding as if he did not know anything, and he's supposed to
I
be the
know
chair.
that is quite funny, and I have known Mr. Naveen Mishra personally. I have been his neighbor for a couple of years when he used to be principal secretary to Mulayam Singh Yadav as chief minister. He was always rated as a very fine officer, an honest officer, and a very intelligent person. For him to be saying this today, the answer is simple. He's given a wishy-washy statement, and what he's saying goes to somehow arouse suspicion that the whole design now is to protect the real culprits. I am not ready to believe that Mr. Nripen Mishra, who was not heading the trust, but he was heading the Ram Janmabhoomi Construction Committee. But still, his stature was such, it couldn't have bypassed his eyes and his mind. And as I said, since he used to be a very competent officer, today I think his hands are tied. From his statement, it seems his hands are tied because his son is a MLC in the became an MLC from BJP in UP, and thereafter he also got a ticket to contest his son Saket Mishra and to contest the last election, but he lost. So obviously, when this is a conflict of interest. So that could be the only reason that he is not coming out with the truth. He obviously knew every bit of what was happening, and what surprises me most is he is giving a clean chit to the man on whom the needle of suspicion should be pointed, which is Champat Rai. Nothing moved there without Champat Rai, and Champat Rai had his close connections with anybody at the highest level. And he once upon a time he used to be chaperone for Ashok Singhal. And I remember we think we wouldn't even bother about him. He used to be arrogant always, and he never looked like a man of integrity. So if all this is going on, and the fact that Mahipal Singh, who first drew this attention towards the chori, he was eased out and told not to come again. And this guy, Mahipal Singh, was an RSS activist, a genuine RSS activist who felt pained when he came to know about this in this chori. He's back in Kota, and the man has courage to spill the beans. And the funny thing is that the so prima facie there is enough evidence under the Prevention of Corruption Act. If you own assets far beyond your legitimate sources of income, you are liable to be prosecuted. So the least that could have been done was to lodge a FIR. It would have been better if CBI had been handed over the case. When I have seen in my 48 years of journalism, Nino, SITs, judicial commissions are formed only to bide time and invariably done to protect someone. In this case, too,
No, but what is
you
not
know,
understandable at all, Mr. Pradhan, is that why is Ripendra Mishra speaking now? Now that everything is out
exactly.
in the open, everything has been mismanaged completely. Then here you have the Ram Temple Committee chairman coming out and speaking, saying that the system needs an overhaul. What does that mean? Is he trying to admit the mistake? Is he trying to do a cover up? Or is he trying to pass the buck on someone else?
He's definitely trying to pass the buck on someone else, and which is very sad. One would have never expected somebody like Nripen Mishra. You would remember that when this issue was raised first time in the media, Nripen Mishra was there, and his reply was flat no, denial mode. He says, "What do I know? I am heading the construction committee. I am not a part of the trust." How can you? Uh, how can a person of that level talk like this? That obviously showed that he wanted to wash his hands off. Then, when he is returned, now he started talking in these terms. Obviously, he speaks whatever is the guidance from Delhi. And there is another angle to it. This SIT, again, I tell you, I don't have any faith in the SIT because you have a handpicked man. He's the same guy who, during the Kumbh Mela, you remember that stampede which killed so many people
Yes.
that
Yeah.
the figures were also hidden. He was the officer who was blowing a trumpet literally, matlab on the loudspeaker. He was announcing कि people get up, go for the bath. अभी वो गिर रहा है, अमृत गिर रहा है. जो सोवत है वो खोवत है. This dialogue had gone viral. And that officer, you think can do any justice in this SIT? He'll make a tailor-made report as he must have been advised, in all probability, by people in Lucknow. But this also reflects the tug of war which has been on between Delhi and Lucknow. And it could be, this issue, if they actually nail the real culprits, then they would try to shift responsibility on bigger people.
No,
But if
but
it's just
Sharat,
a
if you could
wishy-washy,
explain, right? But if you could explain that why did Nripendra Mishra feel the need of coming out and speaking now? Why not
I,
before?
d-
Over all
I
these
don't think
years, yes,
I don't think
sorry.
he's doing it on his own accord. He must
Okay.
have been. This is how he must have been briefed by Delhi, because
Hmm.
he takes his instructions from Delhi. He wouldn't I don't think he would have anything to do with Yogi Adityanath, because Delhi doesn't like Yogi Adityanath. Yogi Adityanath doesn't like Delhi. So that is not. He is speaking after, I think he has been briefed to do that. He's taken a complete U-turn. In the beginning, when you say I have nothing to do, what do I know? I'm heading the construction committee. Then you suddenly say you don't know, and giving Champat Rai a clean chit. How can you, when the matter is still investigating, how can you say I can vouch for Champat Rai but nobody else? You remember, this is exactly what he said. And so this clearly shows there is some design behind this whole thing, and efforts are being made to nail people, only to give a message around that, see, we are very serious about it, because
Yeah.
this is going to, they'll pay a price during the elections. So the BJP's worry is only one, and they'll move heaven and earth for that, which is, how is this going to impact the election in 27? All those Ram Bhakts who really out of devotion must have devoted all kinds of jewelry, cash, and especially the lot of poor people who I've seen, poor women coming and giving away their tops as offering, and there is no record of these, of the all the jewelry that is given in the in what they call is uh, box, which is Gupt Dan. There is no record, and this so what makes me further, it is laughable that somebody like Nipend Mishra, a responsible IS officer, um, 69 batch, he must be in his 80s, he has the cheek to say कि नहीं नहीं 45 days का इलेक्शन कमीशन भी 45 दिन में डिस्ट्रॉय कर देता है, तो यहाँ पे इसीलिए कर दिया होगा. Can you imagine? This is straight away. This is an alibi. And if he is doing it, obviously there is some conflict of interest, and somebody is being saved. And though unless their heads roll, nothing's going to happen. They are
Right.
thinking they'll fix a few smaller fries and go to town saying that, look here, हम चोरी बर्दाश्त नहीं करते, हमने तो उसको
Right.
भिजवा दिया जेल. But the
Right.
real culprits will enjoy life with
Right.
all the hundreds of crores that they've made.
Absolutely. Now let me come to Professor Chaturvedi. Professor Chaturvedi, you'll have to unmute yourself. What do you make of Nripendra Mishra's statement? Everyone is surprised that why did he choose to speak now? And whatever he has spoken,
The
it
basic
seems
thing
that
is what Sharadji,
yes, yes, sir. Yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
what
Go ahead.
Sharadji is saying is absolutely correct. Caesar's wife has to be above suspicion. He can't hide in the guise of statements. He has to come true because he says he has seen the documents. Once you have seen the document, why did you not right away? Why of SIT? Whatever Sharadji said was absolutely correct. SIT is basically cold things cool off eventually. And moreover, you will find a contradiction between the statements coming now from Rambhaks to Andhbhaks. Whatever the chief minister said, that please don't hurt the sentiments and feelings of Rambhaks. Being hurt, or are you trying to unearth whatever has been done wrong? We know the temples in ancient, because I am a history student. These temples were kept, were basically treasury of the state, and there
Right.
was no tampering whatsoever, no loot whatsoever, no bungling whatsoever, ever in historical records. This is for happened, and somebody who was in charge He can't now shirk off the responsibility, saying that I was only interested or given the task construction. I had no financial responsibility whatsoever. If you are there and coming away from PMO for this work, then I think it should have been your responsibility to ensure that there is a transparent system in how could somebody a salary of 18 to 20,000 buy properties in crores? How could it dug out from cow dung, beneath the cow dung? What is happening?
No, but Professor Chaturvedi, there is another question which I have in my mind about Nipendra Mishra's statement, where he says that the CCTV footage of the Ayodhya temple's donation counting
Right.
room is automatically deleted after 45 days. Now, are you in the know of any prescribed rule, any SOP, any guideline which says that we delete the footage in 45 days? We've only heard the EVMs where they are placed, or the
I'm
counting
absolutely.
room we've
I
heard
have never come
45
across such
days.
thing, but when you have somebody like your CEO, then it is quite possible. You can have somebody who burns 4,000 CCTVs or EVMs.
Ah,
Then whatever is absolutely clear. I think there is no doubt about it. And now you are trying to put a veil over everything using
yeah, yeah,
religious idioms. It's absolutely incorrect and unjustifiable. Let me be very clear. If you come out with truth in a very transparent manner, then people, Ambhaks, will not be hurt. Yes,
No, so Professor,
Andhbhaks would be hurt.
Professor Hiram, are you saying that these statements coming from Nipendra Mishra are almost akin to giving himself a clean sheet? He's saying that, okay, I'm giving a clean sheet to myself, and I will ensure that now in future the system gets overhauled. Does this statement sound like that, Professor Chaturvedi?
I said in the beginning, the Caesar's wife has to be above suspicion. And the
right.
entire needle of suspicion goes, points towards him. And you can't escape by saying Champat Rai, Champat ho gaya, Falana, ye ho gaya. You are the man responsible. Coming from the PMO for this place called Shri Ram Janbhoomi Tirth Kshetra Trust. How can you absolve yourself from this responsibility? A crime. And now I'm talking as a Ram Bhakt. I'm not an Anbhakt, but I'm a Ram Bhakt. It is a crime. But more than a crime, it is a sin. And if it is a sin, then who are the sinners? And now they want the crime more. Trying to cover it, saying don't hurt the feelings of Ram Bhakt. This is what our Chief Minister said here
Let's put out
in
the
the beginning.
statement. Let's put out the tweet of Yogi Adityanath, what he said. Barani, if you're there backstage, can we have Yogi Adityanath's tweet? This is what Yogi's tweet says: that do not fall for the temptations of those who seek to insult the Sri Ram Janabhoomi temple. The SIT investigation will separate the milk from the water. If there is any
Why do
criminal,
you
he will
want
not
to
escape. This
separate
is
milk
certain.
from water, rice from chaff? You know, the husk is everywhere. And you can't, where everybody is involved in a corrupt system of enriching himself at the expense of the Ram Bhaks. Right from the word go, whatever Sanjay Singh revealed today, right from the word go, there has been a design, not about the design of the temple, but design
Right.
itself. What about the 1,250 bricks?
Hmm.
Want to know.
Okay,
Gold
let's read
studded
out
with diamond.
one second, Professor Chaturvedi. 1 second, let me just read out Pavan Khera's statement on Nripendra Mishra's remark on Ram Temple Construction Committee Chairman Nripendra Mishra's remark that the entire management structure needs to be changed in the alleged irregularities in temple donations. Congress leader Pawan Khera ji very clearly stated he should also be removed, and those sitting above him in Delhi should be removed as well. You are stealing in the name of the
The
temple,
voice wasn't
looting in the name of Lord Ram.
clear.
Aren't you ashamed? Yes, Professor Chaturvedi, and then I'll come to Sharadji. Professor Nripendra, so now the needle of suspicion equally points to Nripendra Mishra. He was sounding in his statement as if he is above suspicion, but now the kind of political reactions are coming in. If you weigh the pros and cons of his statement, it almost looks like he is giving himself a clean sheet. He's trying to show that he doesn't have anything to do with whatever has happened. Professor Chaturvedi.
You know, why doesn't he explain about the 34, 35 donation boxes from which counting was being done, and the CCTV were tampered then? How could they be tampered every day, every single day? And the tops and things given by ladies just because of their bhakti, of their devotion. Moreover, uh, one more thing is very clear. Now people suspect that it is not less than 200 crores of embezzlement.
Right.
And moreover, when I say an FIR should have been done, I have my friend, KK Rai's version. I talked to him just prior to this. He's a very good advocate and was president of PUCL. He said in the Lakshmi case, which was heard by the Constitution Bench, there too they decided, this is Lalita Kumari versus Union of India 2013, 2013, that it is a cognizable offense. And in every cognizable offense, the state has to take cognizance of it. And how does the state take cognizance of it? Not through SRT. It is through FIR. That is the beginning. First information report. If there is no first information report, you cannot think of FIR, final result. And you cannot even think of a big SIT being on a legal basis. SIT has its own limitations. And in court, ultimately the FIR and the police report and the statements of these witnesses and all those involved would matter a lot. And if they are not given opportunity, it means you are trying to hide them because they are your agents. And it has
Right.
happened
Right.
right from
All right.
Mahmood Ghaznavi, who
Right.
was trying to loot these temples, to this state. Would we have ever imagined of something happening in independent India and something like this in
Right.
2026?
All right,
What
Professor
will happen
Chaturvedi.
to you
Now,
once you
yeah,
get Mathura and everything? How are you getting
yeah.
hold of temples? It is
Okay.
becoming evident.
Yes, Professor Chaturvedi, hold on over there. I'll come to Sharaji now. The Sharaji, what we are seeing is that media has widely reported what exactly Nripendra Mishra has said, but nobody is analyzing as to what is the backstory of Nripendra Mishra's statement. Why is he raising this 45 days footage time duration? Nobody is questioning on that. Then he's talking about the fact that he caught somebody red handed also a few weeks ago carrying cash. There was no checking. And this is all which is outsourced. These are volunteers who are working, and there are no set rules, regulations. And then there should be a management which should almost be on the lines of Tirupati Devasthanam board. Now, what does this mean? Now the incident has happened, everything is out in the public domain, it's become a huge political issue. It makes BJP look as if it has backstabbed the Ram Bhakts, the Ram devotees. So how is the government now going to come clean just by Nripendra Mishra's statement that we need an overhaul? You'll have to
Uh,
unmute.
uh,
Unmute. Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
Nripendra Mishra is, as I said, he's trying to wash his hands off, and he has two purposes to do. One is to protect some people who he has been advised by somebody to do so, which is why he is not taking cognizance of the deleted CC camera footage. The second thing, when he talks about getting a CEO appointed on the lines of the Tirupati Mandir, I would be surprised if he's angling for that position also. Because he's the person who has been associated with the temple for a very long time, although he must be in his 80s. But, or maybe he wants to have some of his stooge positioned there. So that, they'll ultimately they'll say, see, we've done all the cleaning up has been done. And like Nupin Mishra said here also, two clerks from the bank and two other employees. Ultimately, they are going to hang the smallest of the fries, who so far they should have registered FIR, because, as I said, prima facie, this is a case for prosecution. Any crime, I mean, if just imagine if some Muslim was there, by now his whole Khandan's houses would have been bulldozed. In this case, no, wait for the 15 days mein aa jayegi report. Intezar kijiye. This is only to buy time and do a cover up, which the government will go to any extent to do. And how it spans later in the day is something to be watched very carefully in the light of the fact that Delhi and Lucknow don't get along. And just see Yogi Adityanath talking about it. 500 years for the construction of the temple. Please wait for another 15 days. Have patience. Do not worry and do not fall prey to attempts to defame you. Now, he is harping on the fact every day, I think day in and out, he's saying opposition is blaming Ayodhya. But nobody is blaming Ayodhya. Nobody has nothing against Ayodhya. It is those crooks right under your nose who have stolen the money from there. It's not stolen. This is a dacoity. Stealing and theft are an understatement. What has happened here is complete dacoity. And the interesting part is there is no Daku so far. It is, you remember that case, Jessica Lal case,
Yes.
when all the accused were acquitted. Times of India gave a fantastic lead story line. Nobody killed Jessica Lal. That was the conclusion of the case. So in this case too, ultimately they'll find some smaller fries, and for all you know, they might be looking for some Muslim connection for to fix some accused. I will not be surprised, because today they're just to say that Samajwadi Party has dual character and Congress has dual character. They were always opposed to the temple. But there is no copyright over the Ram temple. They opposed the demolition of the mosque. Nobody opposed the construction of the temple. But they are giving that twist only to save themselves from the electorate.
Right. So, in a way, how can we conclude now that one cannot take Nripendra Mishra's statements at the face value and believe completely what he's saying? Professor Chaturvedi, your concluding comments, and then I'll end the show.
That
Your voice
the
is
best
breaking.
way
Yeah,
out,
go ahead. Go ahead.
the best
Yeah,
way
yeah, go ahead.
out would be for a fair inquiry, not SIT, but an place. Without FIR, you can't proceed in the case court of law. Therefore, that is a necessity with which we should begin. And there should be no cover up, because you are, as I said, you are not only the people but also the Ram Bhaks. And once you are hurting the sentiments of the Ram Bhakt, it is by not by saying that don't hurt their sentiments. This is not correct. There is a contradiction between what you are saying, the literal meaning, and the real meaning. The sentiment won't be hurt if you come forth with the truth. If there has been some wrongdoing, you should come forth that there has been a
Yes.
wrongdoing. Let it be admitted. Let us have a fair trial. Thank you.
I'll
All
just
right.
add one thing.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
if they really wanted to take action, It should have started much earlier. And to be talking, this is all, beating around the bush. They are in denial mode, which they were there in when the property was being purchased for the temple. Then also they remained in denial mode. So the whole, if you are in a denial mode, you can never find the truth.
Absolutely. We'll have to end it here. Let's see what the investigations in the coming days hold for. Whereas Yogi Adityanath has said that no one will be spared. We'll finish the investigation in 14 days. Now let's see where this all heads to. But yes, it's become a huge political issue now, just before the UP elections. It's a big, big issue. So let's see how the political parties also flex their muscles on this particular issue. Thank you so much, Sharad Pradhanji,
Thanks.
Professor Chaturvedi. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you.
Thanks.